Hello everyone, it's Theme Park Avenue, I'm Eric. Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio has, in my opinion, the best roller coaster collection in the world. That's from what I've ridden, of course. However, I'm wondering in this video, how can we make it better? So before we get into my ideas, subscribe so you know when new theme park content comes out. I do much more than hypotheticals like this. I do rankings, reviews, and a whole lot more. Now, a few things to note. First of all, I'll be talking about rides I should remove, and rides I think the park should add in their place. There's going to be a total of 16 by the end of this, and one very important thing is that historical significance is thrown out the window. I'm not considering whether a ride's an ace landmark or anything like that. I'm focused on making the best and most well-rounded lineup possible. With that out of the way, let's begin. I'll make a quick note that Thrill Dragster being the new launch coaster, I'll assume it's of similar quality, and we'll just go from there. So let's talk about two rides I think must be removed. I call these the duds, or the dead weight of the park. Rougarou and Corkscrew. Rougarou does little for the park's lineup because it is another B&M, and while it's more intense than technically Valravn and Gatekeeper, I guess, Raptor is there to cover that part, so there's really no need to have it. The other Corkscrew, it's not great. It is historically significant, but its record being first coaster to go upside down 3 times is not the most impressive. Not to mention, it's a pretty below average ride, and I think it could be replaced with something much better that helps the park become more well-rounded. 3 other roller coasters I think should be removed: Iron Dragon, Gemini, and Cedar Creek Mine Ride. Iron Dragon, this one unfortunately, while a fun little suspended coaster, is far from the best family coaster out there, and is taking up a nice plot of land that I have quite a plan for. Gemini, obviously fun, enjoyable, all that, but it takes up a huge amount of space, and while some have come around to say it's one of the best rides in the park now, I think in general, it still has one of the shortest lines of any major ride, and it's one that's not worth keeping around if something better could be put in its place for making this hypothetical great lineup. And Cedar Creek Mine Ride also has a nice water area, and it's not the best family coaster out there by any means, probably the weakest in the park right now, so I think that one can go as well. Now there's one ride, a close call. I'm not sure it should be removed or not. That is, I'm sure some of you guessed it, Magnum XL-200. Disregarding historical significance, this is a divisive ride. Some hate it, some love it. I'm in the middle, but I don't think the best rides are nearly as good as some say, and the worst rides are not nearly as bad. I personally would like to see it removed if I were to make the ultimate Cedar Point lineup, because something better could be put in its place, and I can almost guarantee I would like it more, and a good amount of people would like it more. Based on the fact that there's really no realism for this whole thing, it's entirely based on just fun ideas. For this, I'm going to say Magnum would go. You may disagree, but remember, it's just for kicks. Now for the new rides that will replace some of these, let's first talk about one I've been saying for a long time. Rougarou and Iron Dragon should be replaced with a flying coaster. I'm thinking B&M or Vekoma could work. I've had B&M in my mind for a while, but I feel now, due to the fly reception being incredible at Phantasialand, a Vekoma flying coaster could work. The pacing of Fly works insanely well for the plot they have over at Cedar Point's area with Rougarou and such. Going through the trees and water, I think it would be fantastic. I'd love to see that. Maybe B&M would work better, but either way, a flying coaster would be a phenomenal addition in my mind. Now for Corkscrew's replacement, my mind goes to a Vekoma family boomerang. I'm sure they could fit it in and have it work over the midway the same way Corkscrew does. It'd be fun to see the spire go up like that. They could add some light theming, and it would greatly boost the family aspect of Cedar Point's roller coasters. Keep in mind, I'm not just going for biggest, most thrilling rides here. I want a very cohesive lineup that allows younger thrill seekers, and even those who just aren't big on roller coasters, to slowly build their way up. And I think a Vekoma family boomerang would be a great way to do that. Now for a GCI wooden coaster, that has to be added. Some wooden coaster has to go to Cedar Point. Most people agree that wooden roller coasters are the weak point of Cedar Point. When you have Mystic Timbers at Kings Island, Gold Striker at California's Great America, Ghost Rider at Knott's Berry Farm, Cedar Point needs to compete. And have a great wooden coaster in the lineup, I think Gemini has to go, and in its place, that's where the GCI would go. My mind goes to GCI because of the plot of land they're working with, Gravity Group seems better with terrain things, and maybe ones that are a bit more spread out. And then Intamin Prefab, for many reasons, I just don't see that working. From El Toro's incidents to the bigger size and cost, I don't see it happening. But I think a GCI would work quite well, maybe even they make it a record breaker in some way. Now to replace Cedar Creek Mine Ride, my mind goes to a Mach family launch coaster. Something like a smaller version of Manta at SeaWorld San Diego. I think it could work, and this is hypothetical anyway, so I'm not super set on how the space would work. But given the fact they barely run Snake River Expedition ever, if they change that ride to accommodate this one, I think that would be fine. I would love to see that, and I imagine that family launch coaster could build up past the Vekoma family boomerang and make for a very strong family lineup. The one other thing, on the note of Magnum, any hyper coaster could take its place. And for me, it'd be an improvement, because Gaio Vanilla is gone. But also, I could just imagine a B&M hyper being great, though given the good amount of B&Ms already at the park, I don't know if that would be my choice. My mind goes to Mach. I can see Cedar Fair working with Mach more in the future, hence why I chose a family launch coaster from them for Cedar Creek Mine Ride's replacement, and I feel like their layouts could work for this. And out and back from Mach would be interesting. I also, in my mind, kind of have Intamin, but I imagine because of similar reasons to the wooden coaster, that would not happen before a Mach or B&M ride did. So that is basically all of the ideas that I'm going to give for this. So let's kind of go over what the final lineup would look like. So we would have Steel Vengeance, top tier RMC hybrid, Millennium Force, wonderful Giga Coaster, Maverick, one of the best launch coasters, new Dragster, possibly also one of the best launch coasters, a new Hyper Coaster. Given that could be out of the top 5 in the park with how good the others are, that's saying quite a bit. A new GCI, those are often well received. New Flying Coaster, oftentimes those rides can be world class and some of the best B&Ms out there. Gatekeeper, Valravn, and Raptor. Keeping Blue Streak, I think having a lesser wooden coaster to kind of counteract the big, grander one can be good. A Mach family launch coaster, Vekoma family boomerang, and Wild Mouse to be the family ones, building up to Blue Streak, and then there's some of the things like the GCI and even Gatekeeper and Raptor. And then you have the kiddie coasters, Woodstock Express, and Wilderness Run. So this might seem a weird lineup, but if you look back through it, I think you will find it's a pretty strong one. Everything about it, from having the same amazing roller coaster Cedar Point already has, to adding in the equivalents of Mystic Timbers, a B&M Hyper, Fly at Fantasialand. I do realize now, all of a sudden, I've been saying Fantasialand the wrong way the whole time, but oh well. And then good family coasters are added in. I think this would be a pretty darn good lineup. Think what you want, but for me, this would be very hard to beat with any 16 roller coaster lineup out there. It would be the best lineup in the world for me, no doubt. And even though Cedar Point kind of already is at that level, I think removing some rides like Corkscrew and Rougarou, in any case, hypothetical or not, could be very helpful for the park. So overall, these are the ideas I have for perfecting Cedar Point's coaster lineup. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below if you like this, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more theme park content like this. I'll see you next time.